Howdy! Welcome back to SlydeBytes on a very hot Midwestern day. I'm going to apologize in advance. You're going to hear some squeaking because Woody is just on the other side of the wall here squealing at me, and you're probably going to hear Kronk panting down here, so apologize. You're going to hear some dog noise. But I had something cool that I wanted to do today because I found something while I was out randomly, and I had to get it because I don't know. I usually don't buy super cheap stuff. I do like the budget, and that's kind of what this channel is about, but super cheap guitars I tend to be wary of. But look at this. $50 at Walmart. I got this RockJam S-type Strat copy guitar. So I figured we'll do an unboxing, and we'll just try it out, do some first impressions here, and just see how it is. Because, you know, $50 could be terrible. Probably will be terrible. So what's cool about this, and by the way, the specs, I have no idea. I found one spec sheet sort of on Kohl's website that had this listed with a amplifier, and it said it was a basswood body, but as far as like radius and scale lengths and everything, I'm assuming it's 25 scale length, whatever, you know, I have no idea. But it does come with this gig bag, which has no padding. It's literally just a just a straight up bag. So I wouldn't trust this for a whole lot. Got guitar picks, looks like your bridge saddle adjustment wrench, got a hex wrench for your truss rod, which is good. That's a truss rod, thank goodness. You don't really see many cheap guitars not have that anymore, but it does still happen, and an instrument cable, so that's actually quite nice to include that for $50. Alright, let's go ahead and put this up here. And, I mean, it is bagged well enough. This is cheap. This neck feels terrible. Does not feel like real wood. It is not smooth, but I can fix that. I can fix that. We're not hopeless yet. That's the grittiest, worst feeling neck I've ever felt on a guitar. There's no polish. That is raw on the edges. I don't know. Can use like I got sawdust on my fingers right now. That is not well made at all. It's relatively straight. Fretboard is nice and dark. Sharp edges, no, not too bad. Actually, quite well dressed. It's just that the back of the neck needs sanded bad. I have some sandpaper. I'll break it out and clean this up a little bit. Maybe I'll oil rub it too and just kind of seal it up some. I like an oil rub finish on guitar necks a lot of times. You do have 22 frets, which is actually kind of impressive, right? The sticker's already just going to peel all over this neck. It's going to be very annoying very quick. Let's see if I can get this off here. Okay. So these tuners are real cheap. I mean, real cheap. This might be some of the cheapest tuners I've ever seen. Strings don't look terrible though. It is a 6-screw traditional trim system, which I don't really like trim systems a whole lot on cheap guitars or in guitars in general. I usually just do a fixed bridge. We might do that here in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 5-way switch, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you know what? We'll plug this in, we'll get some tones out, and we'll just get it tuned up and see how well it tunes up, and I'll put the trim arm and do a little bit of stuff with it. I don't expect it to do great. That's a really thin, really small block in the back of there. I don't know if you can see the trim block back through those holes. Maybe you can, but just barely. It's real thin. I don't have super expectations for this thing. And in fact, I can actually see bits of wood, probably sawdust or something sticking out from underneath this plate. But hey, we'll try it. It's actually partially a plastic plate underneath there too. Okay, we'll give it a shot, and we'll get this set up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. You'll have to forgive me. Different clothes. I got pulled away, but I figured we'd come back and we'll take a look at this today, at this RockJam. Now I will say, I was sitting late last night, just too late to record anything, but it was, I was sitting there playing it and I realized this thing would not stay in tune for anything. I didn't do any setup work at first, and it was getting so frustrating though. I was like, there's no way I can even make a video on this because it's going to be so terrible. And I realized all the saddles were just so high up, there's so much tension on here that there's no way that the guitar is actually ever going to stay in tune. Lowered those saddles and actually it doesn't sound, it's a little out of tune, but so what I think is when you get these guitars, a lot of times they're not set up. It was already pretty much tuned, which is not really the best way to store these things. Let's go ahead and get back in tune. I want to go ahead and make sure we're tuned up. Okay, we're tuned up. So now we're all tuned up. And like I said, I did adjust these. It's been holding tune okay. We'll just go ahead. So they do have it set so that the bridge is touching the body. So yeah, let's just go ahead and go through the pickups. We're in double drop detuning because I just really like that. It's really nice and ambient. Let's go ahead and start on the bridge, and we'll just play for a minute, and we'll do this. We'll go to dirty, and we'll play with the swing bar and just see how we stay in tune. So here we go. These are really gritty strings and really gritty, dirty frets, and the fretboard is extremely dry, so it needs conditioning bad. Second position. Middle position. Fourth position. Let's go neck. I'm just playing with these tone controls a little bit. It doesn't sound too bad. I'm gonna guess these are just basic, cheap ceramic pickups, but it really doesn't sound bad. A little bit simple sounding. They don't have as much personality as I feel like a lot of Squires do, even with the ceramic pickups. But they're not bad. Go back to that bridge position for a second and. Yeah, so seems to be holding tune okay. Let's just check real quick. Yeah. G moved a little bit, B moved slightly, not bad. Yeah, everything's staying in tune. Let's go ahead and let's throw on the Overdrive channel on my Blackstar HT Club 4D Mark II real quick. Let's see if it chugs, and let's leave the Ghost Ray going. I want some ambience today. I'm just feeling it. Okay. Alright. And we're going to use the Bad Monkey as a boost. Now, I will say, most thing close, this thing is noisy, and I can put my noise gate on, but it is very noisy. I mean, they are single coils, so noise gate is on now because otherwise you are going to get this. It's pretty obnoxious. I noticed that on my little practice sample last night when I was just playing late to keep quiet. So, yeah, let's go ahead and... Go back to the bridge for a second. Go ahead and shut the ghost grain delay off. Yeah, you hear that cutting out, in and out. I'm not really sure what's causing that. I don't have that problem with any of my other guitars, so I'm not really sure if there's something going on with the electronics, or maybe the noise gate is just overreactive because there's so much noise coming out of these pickups. I will say they are really low into the body. I would actually prefer to raise those a fair amount, single coils, and get more output out of them. But overall, honestly, would I recommend this to someone to play? Probably not as their first guitar. I feel like a lot of times, you know, you can get Squiers and Epiphones and Ibanez and so many other brands these days. You can get them around $100-200, somewhere, you know, anywhere in between that, depending on what sales you get. And they're generally going to be a better guitar. I will say these tuners are not as bad as I thought they would be, and it does seem to be holding tune. I mean, we've been playing with that whammy bar. Yeah, and I mean, it's got a decent amount of little, like, break up there on the, I've got the Bad Monkey on it. It sounds good, and just, I mean, I really like it in a lot of ways. Like, the tonality of it is actually not bad. Again, it's not something I would necessarily say you should go out and get as your first guitar, but if you only have $50 and this is all you can afford, it would do the job, but you probably want to take it to someone who knows a little bit more about guitar and get a setup on it, and put new strings on. And oil this fretboard, and sand this neck. Again, there's going to be a lot of little touches, and then it's not playable. You're not getting splinters. There's not really any fret sprout. It's actually really well dressed on the frets. The fact you have 22 frets is really cool. I'm assuming these are just, nickel medium jumbo frets or some sort, probably 9 to 5 standard radius on it. It feels very much like the neck on my first guitar, which was or my first 6-string guitar, I should say, my Squire SE Strat. But in a lot of ways, it's got decent weight to it. I don't know how long all the parts are going to last or anything. I mean, you can tell by the feel, this is real cheap metal and everything. Traditional screw-in trim, but you could get by with this. You just needs a little bit of touch-up work. Like I said, you just need to do a little bit more sanding in the back of the neck and change these strings, oil the fretboard a little bit, and just buff it up. And I'm probably gonna go do that. And over time, I mean, this would be a fun little guitar. Just $50 if you have someone in your life, you just want to get them started, and this actually is not bad. Yeah. You could do a lot worse than this. And I'm actually using the cable that was included in the pack, just because I can, and it actually is doing a good job. It's cheap, it probably won't last very long, because it's real thin and everything, but in the meantime, yeah, I have no real issue with that. So what would I rate this? Because it's so undressed and so unpolished, and it was unplayable with this, with the saddles the way they were. I would say I would probably give this 2.5 to 3 stars. You can use this. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It'll get you by if you needed a guitar and you just wanted to learn and you had $50 and this was there. You could use this. You could do it. It just needs. I feel like you shouldn't have to do that much more work. But again, for $50, what are you asking? Now, when this first came out, I believe they were selling around $100 to $130. So at that price point, you might as well just go get a Squire, one of the debut series or something from Amazon, because they were already ready to play pretty much out of the box. You don't need to do any of this stuff. But for $50, if you happen to find these on clearance, like Walmart, like I did, it's not so bad. So let's go ahead and just call it there, guys. If you like this sort of thing, I hope you. And I hope you do. I hope you found this helpful. You might consider liking and subscribing, because that goes a long way to helping this little guitar channel grow. If you like the way I play, you like the music on the channel or anything like that, you can also check me out over on Instagram, TikTok, and X, where I post my other guitar content, a mix of videos on X and music. And on Instagram, TikTok, you just see my guitar playing and music I write, Gundam collection, things like that, maybe puppy pictures. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't really have anything else for you for this week. Stick around, always more content in the works. I've been a little slower to upload. I've just got a lot going on in my life right now, but hey, that means I'm living it. So, yeah, be kind to each other, be kind to animals, keep shredding, partners. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye.